Today Rise Today. I am your host, Nina Gikunda. We've had Matata. Matata has some amazing music. And guess who we'll be having on the show today? We'll be having Matata Official with us. Yes, starting on a high note. How are you feeling? Meamkaje unafilaje? How has your week been this far? How is your November going? The plans that you've had lined up, we've come to the last quarter of the year. Ukoaje, unafilaje? Personally, I'm feeling all right. I'm happy, I'm healthy. Grateful to be alive this beautiful morning to grace your beautiful screens. Once again, I do hope you're okay. Talk to us on our social media platforms. That's KUTV Kenya on KTV_Kenya on Twitter, KUTV Kenya on Facebook, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. You can also catch me on my personal handles at Wangari Gikunda across all social media platforms. Well, aside from having the great Matata Official on our show today, we also have a beautiful conversation, a conversation that I can't believe I'm the one having this morning. About 6-7 days ago, it is said that the court ruled that being a housewife is a payable job. Being a housewife is guaranteed of a salary at the end of the month, because just like every other job, a housewife will wake up, do every duty, which is also it's also energy that you outsource. You hire nannies, you hire house help. So why don't you pay that housewife who's doing everything that a house help would do, and you would equally pay a house help? So this is the conversation we will be having. As for me, sometimes I get mean as a woman. So I totally agree with all this. I totally agree with the fact that being a housewife should be payable by the end of the month. We will be getting into this conversation once again. Our social media platforms are at KUTV Kenya on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that it's viable? Should a housewife be paid at the end of the month? A salary, just like a nanny, just like a house help. Should they be paid? Considering they put in all the work, they are 24 hours around the clock, taking care of themselves, taking care of the family, ensuring everyone's needs are catered for. Think about it. Let me know what your opinions are. We will be coming back to you with our traffic updates. Welcome back. We get our traffic updates from Mathuri Route on Twitter. So if you have any kind of useful information you think that is needed to be shared, make sure to tag at KUTV_Kenya on Twitter and at Mathuri Route, MA3ROUTE on Twitter. That's where we get all our traffic updates all around the week. We have there's a lot of traffic between the DCI offices all the way from Kiambu Road to the DCI offices all the way to Muthaiga, getting into Thika Road. There's a lot of traffic around that route. There's also crazy traffic around Thika Road all the way from KCA. From Safari Park towards Roosters on Thika Road as well, there's traffic. Eastlands, what is Eastlands looking like? What is Eastlands looking like? What is Ngong Road looking like? Langata, Wayaki Way. Talk to me at KUTV_Kenya and at Mathuri Route on Twitter. Also, let me know your thoughts on Al-Kablo. Al-Kablo it was reinforced roughly 3 weeks ago, and there has been a lot going on. Personally, I support it. We're getting into the festive season, and a lot of chaos happens in this particular 2 months up until around mid-January. So what do you think about the Al-Kablo that was reinforced 3 weeks ago? Do you think it's going to make changes? Do you think Kenyans are going to heed to the do not drink and drive rule? talk to me on social media platforms once again, and at KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, KUTV Kenya on Facebook, and at KUTV Kenya on Instagram. I'll be coming back to you with our news updates. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us up until now. If you're just joining us, better late than never. You're not as late. We've just gone through our traffic updates and a little bit into what we're having today. Let us to go through an article I have here. How is the safety in our streets as we speak right now? You know, our economy is not as friendly, so there's a lot of robbery, there's a lot of unsafety. If you have a family or close friends coming to Nairobi or residing here, please advise them appropriately. These past 2 weeks have not been easy at work, said one Dr. Lillian Munywa. We are receiving an average of 4 to 7 cases of stabbing daily from muggings around the city. I have helplessly watched young and old men and women breathe their last while trying to save them. Some are in ICU while others have survived but with lifelong injuries. Most of these cases are coming from the drive-in flyover up until KCA, the KCA underpass and the total exits, Globe roundabout and Kipande Road, ABC Place and Kangemi along Wayaki Way, Naivas, Allsops along Thika Road Superhighway, and the CBD around Archives, River Road and Fig Tree area and the KBC offices. So these are the red alert areas, these are higher stricken areas. Please note these killer thugs are stealing in broad daylight. If you resist, they will stab or shoot you without a second thought. You never know what people are on. Advise your friends and family to avoid walking alone and getting late in these places. If you're carrying a laptop in a backpack, you remain a target. Be sure to either lose the laptop or to lose your life in these places. You're on your own. Save your loved ones, especially now that the December holidays are approaching and the thugs are becoming bolder by the day. Before the government comes to save you, make sure to save yourself. So that's an alert we have gotten. As you're walking around the streets of Nairobi, be safe. And also don't walk alone, especially if you have to walk around such kind of areas. Make sure you walk. Mkiwa wengi kidogo, you might be able to fight for yourself. Before we get into the news, I'll read some feedback. We have Frank Major Minor, big up to the beautiful host. Keep it up, the good work. Watching from Naukwivo. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be getting into our news updates in a bit. to the news updates for today, Labour and Employment Court Judge Anne Ngubuini Mwaure has ordered the striking Kenya Airways pilots to end their mass action and report to work today at 6 a.m. Their employer, KQ, has also been warned against taking disciplinary action targeting pilots who proceeded on the strike. The interim orders will allow the grounded fleet at Kenya's airports to be airborne as the court hears and determines the KQ impasse.
The push and pull at the country's airline has been put to a temporary halt. This is after Judge Anne Mwaure of the Nairobi Labour and Employment Court ordered an end to the strike staged by the disgruntled pilots. In the 7-point judgment, which was delivered in under 5 minutes, the judge directed the pilots to report unconditionally for the rostered flights starting tomorrow at 6 a.m., signaling a return of air traffic in KQ air routes that have been deserted for the last 4 days. On the other hand, KQ has been ordered to allow the pilots perform their duties without intimidation, with the judge barring the employer from instituting disciplinary processes against the pilots. The order remains in place until determination of the case, with the next mention set for the 21st this month to confirm compliance and give date for ruling. Judge Mwaure had given the two parties to the stalemate 3 hours to formulate their own solution, and when none was forthcoming, she reappeared in the courtroom with her orders. KQ had taken 11 CALPA officials to court for contempt of a court order issued on 31st October stopping the strike. However, through their lawyers, the pilots asked for vacation of the order, while KQ wanted the pilots ordered back to the cockpit. According to KQ, they had at least 3 meetings to iron out issues, but all attempts have hit a dead end. An estimated 12,000 travelers were affected in the 4 days, with tourism, trade, health and agriculture sectors also taking a hit. Dennis Omondi, KU TV.
Moving forward, we do hope that they will come to an amicable understanding as to allow things to move on. We are at a standstill. Moving forward, the revelation of a plan to increase the current presidential term limit has sparked uproar in the political landscape. This comes after Fafi Member of Parliament Salah Yakub proposed an amendment to the constitution to increase the 2 5-year terms limit and instead limit the age of a presidential hopeful to 75. Auma Evans with the details.
Fafi Member of Parliament Salah Yakub's sentiments during a relief food distribution drive in Garissa over the weekend did not settle well with most Kenyans, setting stage for critics. Activists and opposition leaders could not hide their displeasure over the remarks made by Fafi MP, coming out strongly to oppose a move by certain all United Democratic Alliance Party members of Parliament to change the presidential term limit, even as his own party disowned the idea. Miguna on his Twitter account termed such move as cruel joke that won't pass a referendum, and such attempt will be making William Ruto a one-term president. Fafi lawmaker hinted on a possible constitutional amendment bill to scrap current 2-term presidential limit and replace it with age limit of 75 years. Article 142 of the Kenyan Constitution states that a person shall not hold office as president for more than 2 terms not exceeding 10 years. Shall the proposal see the light of the day, President William Ruto, who is 55 years old, could rule for more than 20 years should he be re-elected after every 5 years, but such move will come at displeasure of many Kenyans. United Democratic Party National Chairman Johnson Muthama has dismissed allegations that the party was planning to sponsor a motion seeking to scrap the presidential 2-term limit. Muthama stating that, as I quote, "As party they stand for open democracy and remain supportive of the 2-term presidential limit." However, for such proposal to pass, it will have to be supported by 2/3 of members in the National and the Senate before being subjected to a referendum where Kenyans will have the final say. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
Moving forward, that's quite an interesting aspect. I would love to see how that pans out in the days coming. Moving forward into matters of politics, members of parliament yesterday began debating on the proposal which was brought up to the floor of the House by Batungulu MP Stephen Mule and his Gishugu counterpart Yeshimo Githinji, who wants the law to be amended to ensure that 5% of a national government